That is kind of funny, isn't it? Hey guys, NXT Heatwave just went off the air. Unpopular Review and the Big Pop 30 podcast is going to go on the air. We're going to give you our thoughts about tonight's card. We're going to talk about it after this intro. So, intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard, Karmen. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Defeat.
Because there was no Jay White side.
Okay, just straight up bang banging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay that attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is the CEO of, Chris?
Jesus, golly. Hey folks, how's everybody? Like I said in the intro, we're going to talk about Heatwave, but we got to do the whole introduction things and stuff like that, right? I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Pooba. I'm joined with, as always on Tuesday, Sabrina Estella. And from Big Pop, we get to do predictions and after show review. My main man, Rich Kings. Folks, how's everybody?
Well, I enjoyed this better than Money in the Bank. I'll say that.
Okay. There we go. What you got, Rich Kings?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty good. I don't know if I side 100% with the wrestling doll, but I'm right there with you.
This was a fun pay-per-view. This was definitely fun. Money in the Bank was fun too. I still haven't finished watching those last two matches. I got to finish Money in the Bank, but I thought this was a good card. I see George in the chat, and he says that the main event, we're gonna get there. But brother,
that's everybody.
I am with you 100% because I don't think.
But it kind of makes sense.
Well, we're gonna get there, but I still want to hear your thought. What makes you say that?
Well, because two Canadian homegrowns won the kickoff, so it makes sense that another Canadian homegrown won the main event. I know we don't like it, but we're going to talk about it. Okay, don't make that face like if I picked those two, because I did not. I did not expect that to happen.
I was very disappointed. Rich Kings, you know that I'm a big fan of Jacy Jayne, so we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about this opening match here. Jacy Jayne and Jazmyn Nix going against Arianna Grace and Karmen. I do have to sit here and say Karmen is. What do you think? I got to ask you. I don't get a chance to always talk NXT here with Rich King, but what do you think about Karmen's entrance? Because that's a pretty cool ass entrance, right? The lady with the sword. What do you think about that?
No, we love a prop, right? So I think that it's a good entrance. It's a good pop. It's exciting. So we like the tank from what was that? Shotzi, or her name is.
No, you're right.
Yeah, Shotzi.
We love a prop. So for me, I mean, it's good when I like when Drew McIntyre comes up with his little sword. He does his thing, leaves it at the front. That's good to see. But it was good. It was a good little start off or the countdown show, if you want to call it the little beginning there.
You had me there, and then you said this was a great way to start. No, it wasn't. It was great that we got to see Jacy Jayne. I mean, somebody who I don't remember anybody wrestling with a face mask. So I do want to give her props because I just think that's very brave. I thought the women, they worked pretty hard in this match. I thought it was good. It was a great way to kick it off. I expected Jacy Jayne and Jazmyn Nix to go over, but that wasn't the case. They sat there and went the other way. We had the Canadian girls go over. We have Arianna. She gets the pin on No, was it? No, Karmen got the pin on Jazmyn. Arianna helped. And I don't know. I mean, there's not much to talk about except that I was very, very upset. But Wrestling Doll, what did you think about this match? I mean, you had to cheer me up here in the chat. We have a chat with Unpopular Review, and I put a certain F word because I was very upset. So what did you think about this match, Wrestling Doll? And you can sit here and talk about how Jacy was robbed, and I do agree with that.
Well, I'm going to say this. I agree with Rich in the way that it was a good way to kick it off, only because we got some women's match action in this. That's what I'm going to say about that. Was the outcome of it what I expected? Not at all. Only because I thought you put these two together randomly. You're gonna have them win, only for what happened later in the night for them to be at each other's throats because Arianna decided to say that she won and took all the credit, even though it was Karmen that pinned
Wait.
Jazmyn in the first place.
Wrestling
And now they're
Dog.
gonna fight each other on Tuesday.
Wrestling Dog.
But Jazmyn and Jacy worked very well together as a team.
Yes.
I will say that. And I think with Fallon lurking in the shadows, I think there's definitely going to be an additional third member going on there.
You know, you said some things that I'm going to give you the floor, Rich Kings. I know you're patiently waiting, but I had to sit and say some things here. You know, you said the thing about Arianna getting the win, and she did. Karmen was about to get pinned by Jazmyn. It was Arianna who flipped her over, made the save, so she was the MVP. So when I hear Karmen sitting there going like, "Oh, well, what makes you the MVP? What are you even talking about?" Now, I'm not going to say too much anymore because the woman has a sword, and you don't mess with people with a sword. We're going to get into the comments. Rich Kings, you take the floor, sir. You're laughing here. But what are you thinking here? What's your thoughts on this?
It was a solid match. It was there was some good hot tags in there where there's a lot of great action. Like, I'm gonna keep it real brief on this one. I was not happy with the results. That did want the other team to win. It was a roll-up pin, like, you know, it's a little flip pin, so it kind of like protects them in a way. But I don't like the direction they are going with your little favor over there with the mask. I do want to see her get built up a little bit more, honestly. But
yeah.
I'm gonna pass it back to you. I'll say I'm
Oh,
gonna keep it
okay.
real
I was
brief.
confused. I thought I entered the matrix. I didn't know what was going on.
I thought the screen froze for a second because I just want to say with what's happening with Jacy and the way that she's getting booked and such. I feel like with her, part of the reason why she might be getting booked like this is because the reaction she's getting is what they thought Gigi was going to get after those two had split up when they were together, and then Jacy kicked Gigi in the face, Martin Jannetty HBK style with the Ding Dong Hello show courtesy of Bailey. They probably figured since Gigi was so popular, everybody was rooting for her. People were booing Jacy when that feud was happening. They figured, oh, Gigi's going to get so popular. She's going to be so loved. She's going to get a pop every time. We're going to book her that way. And I don't think they figured that Jacy was going to get a bigger pop, a bigger reaction. People were going to be behind her or root for her. So I think that might play in part of why this booking is happening with Jacy. But if y'all are trying to make some of these talents look good, can you make the other ones look good as well? Like Jacy? Like, give her something besides Cody giving her the distinguished honor of wearing his dashing Cody Rhodes mask over hers?
I think it's going to be interesting to see what they go with, especially you mentioned about Fallon Henley being a part of this trios. I'm interested in where this goes. I see in the comments, we want to make sure we highlight everyone's comments here. We got George in there. He says, I'm sorry that Jacy lost. Blame Jazmyn. I feel like that was a shot at me. He says, great Canadian winners in this match. I don't know, great. I mean, Jeffrey, I think you learned the word great and you're just abusing it. I would say it was cool. We got also, he says, Jacy was late to break it up. New H Man says,
guess what?
She did try. Thank you. New H Man says, guess what? SummerSlam, Cleveland, and Great American Bash coming up next month in football games. So there we go. We got that. What else we got here? George says there's no one to challenge Roxanne Perez. We're going to talk about her a little bit later. Karmen did do all the work. Did she? After July 4th had passed and on July 7th, Warman's back, so acknowledge him. We acknowledge Warman. What's going on, Warman? George says that I would like Jacy Jayne to be the next women's champion for NXT.
She would be a good champion.
And I was going to say so. Like, I think she would be fantastic. And then you couldn't be on the Jayne train because, there's no room for you. It's a one-seater. Let's talk about this opening match here. We had Oba Femi defending his North American Championship against Wes Lee. I'm sorry, tongue-tied here. I'm not going to hold you guys. This was a great way to open the fucking show. I'm not going to hold. I mean, this was great. Wes Lee, I mean, what's there to say? I agree with you, Wrestling Doll. We'd be in the chat, and, the executive consultant, he just, he talks because he talks, right? And he'll say,
He
Dominic,
likes to talk his talk.
Yep, there we
He's
go.
basically our Vince McMahon because anybody that's under 200 some pounds and doesn't look like 6'12" and is like super big and muscular, he's like, oh, they don't make a believable looking champion. They all have to be super big and muscular in order to be a formidable champion. No, they do not. And I'm sick and tired of hearing all that nonsense. However, with this match with Oba Femi, with the stipulation of if Wes Lee loses, he can't challenge for the title anymore as long as Oba Femi remains champion. Much as I love Wes Lee, I kind of knew that was going to be the outcome, that Oba Femi was going to retain. What does this mean for Wes Lee? Maybe in the meantime, maybe he'll try to go after Ethan Page, what see fit, gets Trick Williams out of his way now and forever. I don't know. Because everybody in their mamas in UPR knows how much I love Wes Lee. My picture with him is still my Instagram profile picture, and unless I get a picture with someone else that I like, it's still going to be that way. But match was good. Wes had a good showing. Oba Femi had a good showing. I mean, he literally threw Wes Lee like 10 feet up in the air and 15 feet across the ring. We were lucky he didn't get thrown into the audience while he was standing in the ring. But match was good, and they both made each other look well. They worked well together with everything that they had been, with all the matches that they had with Triple Threat, Fatal 4-Ways, all that fun stuff. But it was nice to see a one-on-one with both of them. And I will say this, the executive consultant says there's only one person that's going to take Oba Femi down, and he claims it's going to be Dominic. Actually, I made that claim saying it's not going to be Dominic. But he likes to say that it is for some reason, because he and almost every other father in the UPR chat is high as hell from whatever they're smoking or taking, because they all love to kiss Dominic Mysterio's ass. I'm just happy that Dice agrees with me that Dominic is not the best North American champion ever, because that made my day when I saw that.
There we go. Rich King, sir, what's your takes on this match? What did you?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna come back on in a second. So, it was a great match. It was a great way to start the show. I do think that I'm a big Wes Lee fan, just like you, and I was hoping that he's actually gonna win this match, but at the same time he didn't. So there was like so many different pops and moments. Me and I don't even call you this great Clarence Slam, but me and my friend over here, we were texting back and forth like, man, I thought he was going to win this match. I thought he was going to hit this with this move. And like, it was just so good. And they have so much great chemistry, to your point, that I wouldn't be mad if they just make this like a makeshift tag team in the future, right? Because they just have such great chemistry. Like, he has all the power, he has some speed, and some in-ring charisma. I could see that happening in the nearby future. But at the same time I don't know who could step up to this North American champion next and put on such a great showing. I think the next person is going to be owned, but I don't know what kind of a good match or quality of a match is going to be moving forward. So I think he did both competitors did their thing. It was great. Great way to kick off the show, and we'll see what's next for Wes on Tuesday.
I do want to sit here and say, Rich Kings, I couldn't believe it. He refused to acknowledge me as the great Grand Slam Poobah. I'm pretty hurt by this. But I agree with both you guys. Like, this was a great way. And I do want to say, there were a few times where I honestly thought Wes Lee was going to get the win here. There was a few times, I think when he hit the, what do you call it, his finisher, the kick, the cardiac kick?
The cardiac kick.
Yeah, I thought he actually had him. I said, whoa, we're really going that route. And I thought it was the right decision to have Oba retain. I agree with you, Jeffrey, in the chat. He says, still have enough steam to be the North American champion. I don't know who can take this man down. I text, me and Rich Kings, we were texting, and I said, this is the strongest black man I've ever seen in my life. I don't think anyone can beat him. I just think he just gets stronger. And the way that he flung Wes Lee, yo, my man's got some, he's a tough cookie, because guess what? I am not moving. You know those life alerts?
He's going to be feeling that for a while.
Oh, I would have been hitting my life alert button, because I would have not been getting up. But really great match. I kind of would like to see them run it back. Wes Lee later in the show, he says, you know, he's down. He's like, I don't know what my direction is. I feel like someone in the comments put NXT Championship. I don't know. I know me and Rich King's, like you was mentioning, maybe a heel turn, and I would totally not want that for Wes Lee. I just couldn't see it as him as a heel. Could he probably do it? Sure. I mean, there's been a lot of people who've been heels, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you had that in you. But Wes Lee's just so loved, I wouldn't want to see it.
He got that pop and he got that love organically over time as he came back after the debauchery disaster that was his partner being let go due to incidences that we will not talk about on air. But the people love him too much that even if he were to turn heel and they would try to make people boo him, I don't think they would do it anyways. They love him too much. It's like with Lola Vice. She's a heel, but everybody cheers for her because they love her too much and love watching her shake her ass.
I know we're going to talk about Lola, but do you really feel like now because I don't get heel off her anymore. I feel like
at this point, she's like a tweener because she is technically still a heel, but she gets the reaction and cheers of a babyface.
Okay. We're going to talk about it. We have another North American Championship match, but it's for the women. And we have Kelani Jordan going against Ruca. I'm sorry. It's been a weekend, guys, so bear with me. But I'm going to pass the floor to you first, Rich Kings, and then I want to give it to you, Wrestling Doll. What did you think about this match?
I mean, to start the show with the men's version of the North American Championship and then followed up immediately with this was just like, wow, like 1A and 1B back to back. It was a great match, great athleticism, great storytelling in the match too. So, and a couple of times I thought that the Soul Snatcher herself was actually going to pull this one out a couple of times, but at the same time it was just great storytelling. So I think they both, once again, back to the previous match we had, was great chemistry, great in-ring awareness, great, just overall, it was just fantastic. So back-to-back matches had you thinking like, oh man, we're in for like probably one of the best pay-per-views we've probably seen in a long time, or PLEs, excuse me, we've seen in a long time, right? So I think both of them did a really, really good job of telling their story, and I think there's going to be a rematch happening sometime soon, regardless if it's on a PLE or just a regular event. But I'll give this match like an A. Both matches were like an A to me. It was just amazing and captivating. Like, it's one of those moments you just couldn't go to the bathroom. You just had to watch the whole entire match. So what did you think about it, the Wrestling Doll?
Well, as someone who is a fan of both of these ladies and has been following their careers since they both landed themselves in NXT. Now, as people know from watching the reviews, the NXT reviews and occasional video predictions, I did pick Ruca to be the inaugural NXT North American champion for the women's belt. Kelani not being on my radar only because they didn't make like too big a deal much as far as like with like stories and such leading up to it, except for the summit that they had. But the match was great. These two had great chemistry and they worked well together, especially because since they both have background in gymnastics, it definitely helped make the match go along very smoothly. And as for getting a rematch soon, unless Fallon Henley magically gets knocked down with Blair Davenport coming back out of nowhere to be anonymous and hitting everybody again for no reason because she's bored and isn't catering with nothing else to do. So Ruca's probably going to fight Fallon Henley for a #1 contendership shot for a shot at that belt because Fallon's going to keep going saying, I'm the one that helped you. I'm the beginning. I was the one that made sure you were all okay. So I need my title shot and I need it now because she did do something like that not that long ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. Have a Fallon Henley versus Ruca match to see who gets the #1 shot at that belt.
Great stuff. I wanted to highlight what Jeffrey said. He said, Ruca and Kelani, they had a great competitive match, but he also said that the way that Kelani blocked the snow, there's no end there, Soul Snatcher, that was good too. Like, there was a few times where she went for it and she just came out of nowhere and caught her. I also I feel like with these women, Rich King, you pointed out like the first match, I mean, that was a hot way of opening. Now, how do you follow up with that? And I thought these women knocked it out the park. I thought that these women, I don't know. It was such a really, really damn. I would even say I prefer this match over the women's title match later in the show. I thought these girls went out there, and I thought that these girls almost had like a chip on their shoulder. I believe Vic mentioned like they I don't know how long they've been doing it, but for a small period of time. So you got these two girls who's going to be the future, and you're seeing it right in front of you. These girls that's going to be here for the next 5, maybe 10 years. I don't know. I'm not Doctor Strange here, but yeah, it was really damn good here. Damn good here. Now, you're talking about title shots here. I do want to ask this question because it's a podcast and I like to ask questions, and this is for the chat as well. Do you see a heel turn in Ruca? No? Okay.
Way too loved by everybody right now, the turn. Way too loved. Like number one baby face alongside Kelani Jordan.
What you got, Rich Kings?
I think if I would see a heel turn for Kalani before I see it from her, honestly. Because I can see her like,
no way.
Really?
That's why I put a twist on
Kelani is way too sweet.
Yeah, that's nice for a while, but after all, that does get stale. These wrestling fans like us get kind of fickle, and we get kind of annoyed, and some people could pay off of that too. So yeah, you could be sweet all you want, but I don't know how long. There's also, I think it also pays on hand on how long she's gonna be holding that title. So let's say she holds that title for like another 6-7 more months. Mm-hmm. You'll think that baby face sweet thing's gonna get stale.
It could. I mean,
it depends. I mean, she could have like the Willow Nightingale effect, as I like to call it. Willow Nightingale is so loved as a face that when she did try to do heel things for a while over in AEW, it didn't really stick because people were still rooting for her and just loved her too much. So I think Kelani Jordan has that similar thing that Willow Nightingale has.
I would that. Oh, go ahead. You got to go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I think that competitive nature, her wanting to win will come out. I can almost see, not trying to compare the two, but almost like a Sasha Banks kind of like, listen, it's winning or else, period. Root for me or not.
This is why
you can have that and still be a face.
This is why
you can, but you can also twist it into be a heel too.
That's too predictable though. But anyways.
We'll highlight this. Well, Jeffrey, he said, "Well, name like soul, you got to be a face. She has soul. She has soul in her." I feel like Jeffrey was trying to make a funny. I feel like my title for
you did try to make a funny.
That was a funny. Good job, Jeffrey. George, give him like 10 points. That was a good one. It depends. The soul gets a rematch, then Kelani wins. The soul turns on Kelani. See, I kind of could see something like that. Like if she loses again, but that is a predictable thing. But I guess that's the wrestling trope in me where I just think that like I'm always prepared for someone to turn heel. Well, not always. That's not always. Does this phase? No one does it like Lani. A heel thing to say. I never thought about Lani being heel. I know it's way too soon, but I just didn't even think about it. But that phase, that is sounds kind of arrogant. Look at Roxy. She was a babyface who turned heel, and I think that's a great example. When you guys were talking, I thought about Roxanne because she came in, she was the sweet girl, the girl next door. Now she'll just step on your shoes, and I think that's a terrible thing.
Well, I mean, it did start with people booing her just because they beaten her favorite in Lola.
You know what? I can't wait to
talk about it.
It
only takes one match to turn heel, or one instance.
This is true. Look at you. When did you become a wrestling historian? Let's talk about this tag match. I thought this was great. I missed a good portion of it, but I remember Kings. He was texting me. And he was like, "Oh, this is really good." Now everyone knows I have no love lost for one Chase U. Like I have no love for them after what they did to Jason.
No, correction. You have no love lost for Andre Chase of Chase U.
No, I put them all in one big bubble, wrestling dog. You know why?
So Duke Hudson is no longer in the list of the great grandson. I was about to say because he's still there.
Big D, that's my guy. So are you kidding me? I just exclude him from there. Matter of fact, I just sit there and say he's there because he just need a place to live. That's all. But he's not a part of Chase University. I can't stand Chase University after what they've done to Jacy. And look, good job, George. Give yourself like 20 points. Chase U deserve to lose. I agree. So I have.
Oh, it was a good thing that Andre Chase ate the pin and not Duke. Otherwise, he would have had a big fit.
Why was Andre even in this match? Honestly, don't he have to go to some kind of bar and gamble or something like that? want to do a
He
wrestling.
stopped gambling to risk not losing money to chase you yet again.
I'm sorry, wrestling doll. I should listen to you. I apologize, darling. I should work on that. But you know how I feel about this Andre Chase guy.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't even know how to follow up, but Rich Kings, I'm gonna get matter of fact, we'll give it to you, wrestling doll. What did you think about this tag match? Axiom and Nathan Frazer going against Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, or Andre the Fraud Chase and Duke.
Well, I think this match was good. I mean, they've been putting the seeds in that Axiom and Nathan Frazer were going to split. So we figured, okay, tonight was probably the night where it was going to happen because Nathan Frazer was so busy being focused on the matches for speed. That short 3-minute thing on Twitter that WWE seen for some reason, which is absolutely ridiculous. But match was good. They worked well together as always, especially with their history back to NXT UK. And Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, they work fine. They have decent chemistry, not as well as Axiom and Nathan, in my personal opinion.
Sure.
I feel like at some point, hopefully, Duke Hudson goes back to being a singles competitor because I think that's where he shines a little bit better, but that's just me.
Okay. Well said. Well said, Sabrina Stella. What you got, Rich Kings?
You know, right when this match started, right, we was texting back and forth like, I don't care for neither one of these teams, to be honest with you. Like, they both could be double disqualified or just throw the belts up for grab. I couldn't stand either one of these teams in this match. But you know, the match when it kind of took off and it was back and forth, I kind of changed my opinion about both of the teams. Like, I did like the breakup with the Canadian Destroyer that happened in the match. That was pretty dope. I did like there was a couple of quick moves or actions that I did appreciate in the match. And the ending I thought was pretty great because I'm not a fan of Chase University at all. So him getting that kick and that sell was perfect. So I think that to the Dolls point, like they keep teasing this breakup, so I don't know when it's gonna happen. I just just break up the team, like, whatever. But I can't help. I think one of the main reasons why I don't like this team because I hate seeing people with that Rey Mysterio mask. Maybe that's what this is the mask. So
if I can elaborate here on our friendship, we've been friends since the 3rd grade, right, my guy? And we both have a disdain for one Rey Mysterio. So you saying this makes me now look at Axiom in a whole nother phase that I didn't want to.
No, don't do it.
Rey Mysterio?
It's not his fault. They made him wear the mask. It's not his fault. Create him how to do it. Please don't turn on him, Ron. Please. We need to like at least one masked wrestler in WWE right now.
Rich Kings, don't you think Rey Mysterio is a fraud?
The biggest fraud there is.
Thank you.
You can dislike Rey Mysterio all you want, but I don't want you to dislike Axiom for something that he had no control over.
I am glad. Look at this right here. I feel like being you see this right here? You see this lie? You see this wrestling dog? This is why I attack people. Look at this. Rey Mysterio is the greatest luchador of all time. Please, when you have someone, when Juventud Guerrera, you made me mess it up, George. When Juventud Guerrera exists, how dare you? How dare you? But I do want to say this match was really good. You said you're not a fan of this team. I love this team. Nathan and Axiom, they work so well together. They're a great team. When is this breakup happening? I at this point I don't even know anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be on the 8th season of Seven Heaven. I don't know. But when it does happen, it will happen. I don't have much because I missed a good portion of this match, but the stuff that I saw, I was like, yo, these guys were killing it.
What's that guy's name? He hit what's that? Trish? Was that Frankenstein or Strass Fat?
Oh yeah. Who did that? I heard it from afar. Who did that? Was that Duke?
Yeah.
Duke is just fantastic. I can never turn on Duke. Duke, he's honestly the star. I saw that Jeffrey put in the chat. He mentioned that Chase U got new merch, which they don't even deserve, but they got it because I guess they just want to I don't know what they're doing. It's something fraudulent. I know it. But Duke is a star. You said you want to see him on his own, Sabrina Estella. I'm with you with it. I'm with you on that. But I do sit here and say Chase U has been the best thing to happen, and I hate saying this out loud. It has been the best thing for Duke because you remember all the gimmicks he had. One point he was like, "I'm 6'5". One point he was wearing genie pants.
Well, I mean, the 6'5" thing is still his Instagram name, and the only other gimmick I can remember him having was when he was a poker player and when he lost to Cameron Grimes.
I'm glad that you said that, but I did want to highlight this too, because this was something to add to the story here. I'm glad that George mentioned this. He mentioned surprised that Ridge Holland didn't get involved. Right. So
he was banned from coming to the building, so he couldn't do anything.
See, once again, Andre is just having uncontrollable drinking here. He should have had Duke Hudson here. I mean, Duke Hudson. I'm mixing up everybody. Maybe I should stop drinking. But he should have had Ridge there to help him out there because then he would have stood a chance. My man right here, my main man here, King, said, why are the other two there? What are they good for? They didn't help. And they didn't. I don't care that he was banned, Jeffrey. You don't have to yell at me. Let's talk about this match right here. I think we spoke everything we need about this tag match, but we had Lola Vice going for the NXT Women's Championship going against Roxanne Perez. This match was okay. I didn't hate it. I did pick the Women's North American Championship match over this match, but I thought the girls went out there. I felt like Lola went out there and she showed that she can hang. I feel like there were spots that you could tell that she's still a little inexperienced, but Roxanne being in the ring with her, she was able to kind of clean it up. And I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it. I mean, I thought the outcome was what it needed to be. Now, one of the things I really didn't like, maybe it's a pet peeve of mine, but so she hit the pop rocks, right? Boom, the first time. Okay.
3 times.
Yeah, no, later on she did 9 times, but the one when she did it on the table and then she kicked out, I didn't like that. I thought that should have ended the match. But that's just a nitpick of mine.
So like when Nia Jackson and Rhea Ripley had their match and Nia brought her down, and that should have been the end of it, but Rhea still kicked out of her finisher.
Yeah, I'm not
like that.
Yeah, and I think
like what happened with Cody Rhodes and a certain wrestler 2 months ago when
what's his name?
Cody Rhodes.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, Logan Paul.
Don't remind me of that mess of a man.
I just don't like spots like that because I feel like boom, I hit my finish, and when she did it on the table didn't break. So I feel like that made it even more like, oh, she should totally not kick out. And I think also too, like, okay, so there's certain wrestlers, right? I really think it depends where you are in the totem pole, right? Like if that was, I'm showing my age here, but like Attitude Era, like if someone like Rock or Austin, something like that, you expected that because that's who they are. I'm not trying to play Lola Vice, but she's not on that level. I think she should have lost to that, but she didn't, and she kicked out. They made her look tough, and I said, man, if she kicks out of, what you said was 9 pop rocks, 9,
3.
Oh, she did 3 altogether. 3.
She did it 3 times, and apparently one got messed up, and it didn't work right. So that's why they have to do it again.
Okay.
Oh, at least to win.
That I liked, and I think, and I'll sit here and say, as much as I didn't like that table spot, the thing I liked about this spot is it made Lola look strong. That it took this amount of times to put her away. So that I liked. She still looked good. No one's gonna sit here and say like she's trash. I mean, first off, no one's gonna say that to her face because she'll break your face. But I thought the match was fine.
He'll beat you down, and then she'll shake her ass in your face to prove you wrong.
I feel like she would do that, like rip your arm off and put up your ass, and she'll shake her ass. Yes, absolutely. And no one could do anything about it because she's really tough. Like she's legitimately tough. So let's be careful here with all. I tell people, you know how sometimes people be saying stuff, you're like, yeah, let's be careful with words here because you saw on the street, you crossed the street. But I'm gonna give the floor to you, Rich Kings. I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking. I feel like it's extra hot in here. What is in this cup? But what did you think about this match?
I mean, a lot of things you said I was going to say anyway, but the match was okay.
We are twins.
Yeah, we're twinning today. The match was it was okay. It was pretty solid. I think like obviously Roxanne Perez and like there are 2 different type of wrestlers, right? One's like a striker, like kind of like kicker and all sorts of stuff. Almost like she knows. I'm gonna say this: when I see Lola Vice, I think of a Mortal Kombat player, like. Katana, Melina, somebody just gonna strike, fight, and just do all these wild things in the match, and the taunting. Like she just like I think she's good for wrestling, but at the same time, it's more of like you're not gonna see her do a suplex and the German suplexes and all sort of stuff. She's not that type of wrestler, which is why I thought it was a different type of match for Roxanne Perez, and the fact that she had to use her move like 5, 6, 7 times, her finisher move to put her down, kind of validated that because she is more of a striker. And I do think the reason why it took that much because they're thinking about the story, right? She's doing it for her mom is sick, and just because it got put through a table that didn't break, why did I not kick out of that, right? So I get it. I get the frustration that you should be protecting the finishing move at the same time too. But I do think based off of her background, her history, and her being such a tough individual, I think that kind of matched up with what we saw there. So it
I think those are great
was
points.
solid. It was an okay, solid match. It could have been better, but I do think that she needs a little bit more season before we get the best of Vice.
Okay. Sabrina Stella, take the floor, madam.
Well, you were asking what's in the cup and what's making it so hot. Well, this was NXT Heatwave, so there's bound to be some heat left over from that. But
Damn it, match you're trying to take my funniest host award again.
No, I am not. These things just pop in my head, and if I don't say it, it goes away. And if I get nominated and people vote, that's not my fault. It'll still stay on the NXT brand, like I keep telling you. Anyways, this match, it was good. Like you said, I also too prefer the North American Championship title match over this one. They had Lola like go through all that to show, like George has been saying, she's a tough girl. She's not going to go up so easily. She's going to keep fighting to the finish. Now, a lot of people on UPR know because I said it a couple times, and if you don't know, I'll say it again. I am a proud Cuban Latina woman. And as much as I should have been rooting for my fellow Cuban sister in Lola Vice, Lola is not ready to be champion yet. She's still green in wrestling. She is not green in MMA fighting and being a striker in that sense. However, she still needs to train and work harder and improve her wrestling ability in the ring. Now, either way, the belt is still in the hands of a powerful Latina woman in Roxanne Perez. We just gonna wait to see who's gonna be her next challenger. But match was great. It did well, and I know a lot of y'all in that ring love Lola and love watching her shake her ass whenever she finishes cutting a promo to prove her points. But we just can't have somebody shaking their ass all the damn time just so that y'all can pay attention. We're out of that era where women had to do like bikini matches or wrestling in mud or in jello or some stuff like that just to get at least 2 or 3 minutes in. The times have changed. We need strong, powerful women to be champions to show us that anybody can do it. And Lola will get her time in a few years, maybe, just not right now because she's still not ready.
You know, and I think you guys.
This is my question to you. Like, I hear you say with the MIA background, and the point that you made just is my point. Next time, anybody could do it, right? What's the difference between her and like maybe a Shayna Baszler when she first went? I don't think Shayna Baszler was seasoned in wrestling, or just a wrestling savant when she won it, or neither was Ronda Rousey. Like she was kind of sloppy. So they gave her the belt. So I don't think that reason why
Ronda was more of a name. That's part of why they put the belt on Ronda, is my personal opinion. As for Shayna, sure, she probably wasn't ready at that time.
What was the question?
I was just about to. Oh, he was making a point about Ronda and Shayna being given the belts, even though he feels that Shayna wasn't ready at that time. She probably wasn't ready at that time anyways, but whoever they have be champion at that time, maybe they figured that that it was her time around that. I don't know. I was not in watching NXT during that Black and Gold era. I started watching a little bit while it was still that right before it became NXT 2.0. So I can't say that I know why exactly they gave her the belt, but she did wind up being one of the most intimidating, formidable, 1 of 3 2-time NXT Women's Champions. So we can't say that Shayna doesn't deserve her flowers.
I did want to touch on that because, like you mentioned, Ronda, and I do agree. It was on the name. It was on the name. In the first run, she had
first run was decent. Second run was up until SmackDown of 2022 when she lost it to Charlotte Flair, which thank God.
But I did want to say Shayna
was trash.
I was gonna say with Shayna Baszler though, she was putting on bangers though. Like, you know, I guess I'm trying to get the question was about like the MMA background. But when I think about if you tell me or asking me about
in the beginning,
the females, huh? The beginning what?
Yeah, in the beginning when she first won the belt. That's what I'm talking about.
And what was the problem?
Yeah, like I don't think she was a seasoned wrestler in the beginning when she first won the belt.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
She grew into.
But I think she was more. I would sit here and say I feel like if the question is about Lola not winning, but Shayna did it, I would say Shayna was more ready than Lola. Way more prepped and prepared than Lola. I mean, when I was watching the stuff that she did at the Mae Young Classic, I was like, oh, this girl's a beast. And I mean, as each match went on, I forget how long she held that title. I mean, I want to say it was a year, but she was just putting on banger matches. And I don't think people are saying that, at least right now, when it comes to Lola. And I say right now because give it time. Next thing you know, people are going to be like, oh, did you see that Lola match? So I think that's the difference. I think so. We got in the comments, we got Jeffrey says it was a great showing by Lola. George said Lola did a good job in the match. Jeffrey made it clear that he will pay attention regardless. Talking about Lola shaking her butt. We got Cora Jade tweeting that she's going to be Roxanne's next opponent. Is she cleared? I don't think she's cleared. We got George.
Well, she's probably saying that for once she's cleared, she's going to go back down there and go after that belt.
Honestly, I think Cora Jade should, before being called up to the main roster. I felt earlier this year, because it was earlier this year she was back.
Yes, we both felt that she should have been the person to become the champion. And right. I think that she will.
Yeah. Now, the question is if she's going against... Now, this is an interesting... and we'll get to that main event.
Point that somebody did make that if she were to come back, would she turn face?
Yeah.
Probably. Or maybe she'll be like a badass face. She won't be like her former character before, which was kind of like a skater girl kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because as much as I did like watching Cora Jade when she first came in, I kind of got a little bored over time because the character was a little dull. But I think with the new character where she's done as a heel, she might be a great tweener.
All right. Yeah, that was going to be my question about if she was going to be a baby or a hit. But we got Jeffrey. He mentioned that Cora is training. She's not ready yet. George says if WWE can make Lola Vice like a Shayna Baszler, then she could be a champion in the future. George also says it's going to be... Oh, Julia. I almost said... but it's Julia... When she's done, this is Mario Gold?
Marigold. That's the name of the company over in Japan that she's working in.
Oh, okay.
But Julia has a wrist injury as well, besides having to do stuff over in Marigold. So it's going to take some time before Julia is ready to get in there and take that belt from Roxanne eventually.
Fair enough. All right, good point. Let's talk about this main event, but real quick, let's just do some plugs here. You're watching, this is a collab. It's Unpopular View and the Big Pop Theory podcast. So give both these pages a like. It doesn't matter where you're at. Give it a like, subscribe on both of them. I want to say thank you for being
Press the bell to be notified whenever anybody puts out videos so that you never miss a single thing.
It's a great time. And we appreciate you guys. It's 10:30 at night and you are talking some wrestling with us. We love to see it. Thank you guys. I also want to sit here and say this as well. Wrestling Dog, who's the current UPR champion right now?
As a matter of fact,
I think it's
just this past pay-per-view, the previous pay-per-view, we did have a new UPR champion in Freckle Sensei from the Raw side of Unpopular Review Wrestling. However, because there was no tiebreaker put in currency of the person in charge of making the polls, we have, for the first time, I don't know if it's the first time period or the first time in a long time, but we have co-champions here on the WWE/NXT side of the UPR champion, the great Grand Slam Puma.
That's why I like to hear.
And on the AEW side, we have the other co-champion, Dan the Man. Together, they are the Taco Kings.
We are the Taco Kings. Listen, this win means so much to me. We're going to talk about this main event, but I want to praise me for a minute as I put down my. Oh, so if everyone.
If you could just be serious for one moment, as Mike Knotts would say.
I'm drinking this so everyone knows what I'm drinking. This win means.
Oh, he's drinking raspberry lemonade. Let's go.
No, this is actually vodka, but yes, no, I do have that on the side just in case. But this win means a lot. I want to sit here and say this win. I'm not sharing it with no one but these two people. I said three. I probably should stop drinking this, but I'm sharing this victory with just you guys here. So good for me. That's my victory speech. Let's talk about this main event. We have Trick Williams defending his NXT Championship, going against Shawn Spears, Javon Evans, and Ethan Page. I have to sit here and say, before the show started, George was the first person in the chat. He was comment number 3. He says, I have to eat crow. And I think we all do because no one.
We all do because nobody saw this coming.
Dude,
I'm not mad at it. I'm just going to say that I'm not mad at it.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I had Trick going over, and
Me
obviously
too.
I was wrong, but
we all were wrong. Everybody in UPR was wrong.
Right. I don't know if she voted because I know Shay was definitely for Ethan Page. And I remember
they probably did vote, but I only got the votes for Trick Williams, so.
I had a joke prepared saying Trick won this, so now he can turn the page. Huh? I know you guys laughed. Don't do that to me. But
may I say, I have one thing to say before we fully go into this. I have a little something. I have a little message to put out there. For one, Mr. Tony Khan. Now, you've had this man in your company for almost 5 years. About 5 years, approximately. You bring him in, you make him an AEW original. You have him work with Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert and be an American Top Team and have it be the best thing that he ever had. And then those two magically disappear, and then you put him with Matt Hardy and Private Party and try to make it a thing. It didn't work. To where you didn't have him on TV for a while, and then he goes into Ring of Honor to get some work in because you won't give it to him on AEW. And all that time, you couldn't give that man a damn belt. That man has charisma. That man can wrestle in the ring. That man can cut a promo like nobody's business. And he called y'all out and said you've got the company who he would put over in his vlog every single time for 4 years, saying that it's the greatest company ever, that it's the best place to work in. He called y'all unorganized.
Yeah, he did.
And you couldn't put a belt on him. You couldn't have given him the FTR belt when he went up against Hook because Hook's boring as hell. Now he's entertaining because now he's working with Samoa Joe and getting his ass beat by Chris Jericho from the Learning Tree.
I know Jeffrey.
Okay, now we can talk about the main event.
Good job. I'm laughing because I know Jeffrey, you're not a big fan of the Learning Tree thing, and I think that's what makes me like it even more because I know you're not a big fan of it, but I think it's hilarious. I thought the match started off pretty slow, but then it really started to cook, and there was so much going on, so I was moving around a little bit, so there was a lot of spots that I did miss, but I know like the spots where there's one where Evans, he does like he hops over the ropes and he goes and hit Trick and he goes through the barricade or something like that. Other spots like that was unique. That was different. There's also a spot later in the night where Evans, my boy was bouncing around. He was getting bouncy. He went for some move and then Trick pushed him and he left. My boy took a lot of bumps. Talking about Evans, the young man went through a barricade table. Am I missing anything here, guys? What else did he probably went through something else here?
Well, I was about to say there isn't nothing that boy didn't get put through tonight. With his background work in the independent scene, there isn't anything that boy wouldn't have gone through to try to make that dream come true. But just being able to work a pay-per-view, not even like 6 months being in NXT, and he's already working a pay-per-view. That boy is making a name for himself, and he is a youngin'. He is only 19.
20. Either way, nonetheless, let me just say this: 19, 20, he's younger than me. Yeah, when the young man sat here,
He's younger than all of us.
You didn't have to say all that. What the hell was that about, wrestler talk?
Hey, I'm calling all of us out. We all old.
Yeah, well, damn. Like, well, I'm ageless. I'm timeless. I fought Abraham Lincoln in the coldest day in March, so I don't have to reveal my age. But I thought this stuff was good. Wrestling Kings. I'm sorry, Rich Kings. He's thinking about something. I'm going to give you the floor here, sir. What did you think about this match? I know the outcome because we both wrote "whoa" at this ending, but please take the floor here so people can stop hearing me talk.
No, I'm pretty sure they love hearing you talk, bro. But the match is a lot of good spots in the match. I felt like for me, because I do like a fatal four-way kind of started a little bit slow for me. But I like action in the fatal four. It wasn't like I saw a bunch of weapons inside the fatal four that took away from the wrestling piece. But Mr. Bouncy for me was my MVP in the match because he was the one that was, having the spots. Or he might be the new Kofi Kingston, but he's doing it in such a flair, in such a way where all these moves that he's hitting is just making you like, I kind of want to rewind it in real time. Like, let me see this over again because it was just really good. I didn't like the ending where was that Spears or whatever his damn name is was pulling Trick Williams. I'm like, what is this? Like, was this like some kind of like handshake deal that Ethan Page and Spears had? Like, if this part of the match happens, I got you. You could be a bodyguard or something like that. I don't know. It has to be some kind of underground deal or something that was going on. But for me, the match was all right. I do feel that Trick was playing defense most of the match. I didn't really see him in a lot of the action inside the match. But it wasn't a typical fatal four-way where there was so much chaos happening that I couldn't keep track of it. But I think it was just right for what it was. It's sad to see. It's really like it's kind of put me back in the old days when the champion didn't get pinned and he just standing outside looking like helpless and lost. I just wanted to be a little bit more irate, like how Triple H would have been like pointing at the referee, grabbing somebody, rubbing somebody up. I just missed that little bit of the ending, but it was a typical fatal four-way.
All right, that's fair. Wrestling Doll, please.
Well, I'm just going to say this to add to that comment that he made about Javon being like Kofi Kingston. All I'm going to say is if they have a Royal Rumble and bring in some NXT surprises, bring Javon in and have him do a Kofi King spot since, unfortunately, the last couple times Kofi has been in the Royal Rumble, unfortunately, the spots didn't work out too well for him. But match was good. It was an entertaining fatal four-way. It wasn't super chaotic to where I would look away for 2 seconds and be like, whoa, what just happened? How did I miss that? But that ending spot with Shawn Spears likes to call everybody that doesn't do what he thinks young and impressionable and is stupid. You were stupid too, because if you were smarter, you would have been able to have pinned whoever to be the new champion. But you didn't, so you ain't. And if we have to hear you moan and groan and bitch and complain about it on Tuesday, I'm going to turn off my TV so I don't have to hear you. But match was good. The biggest upset of the night, the only title change of the night. And now we will have an all egotistical NXT champion in Ethan Page. And I know he is going to make Ava Rain's life a living hell while being champion. And so will Ora Mensa.
It's going to be interesting.
Ora's going to make Ethan Page's life a living hell. He will hunt him down.
I'm glad that you said that because George put in the comment, he talked about Ora and he said, do you see him costing Ethan Page I guess the championship against Trick when they have a rematch? No, I don't. I think Ethan is gonna have, and when I say a run here, guys, I'm not talking like he's holding it for 3 years or anything like that. I'm saying this guy's gonna have a.
We're not gonna have a Bruno Sammartino thing with him going on, but he will hold it for a while.
No, he's not gonna be like Bruno Sammartino. No, he's gonna hold it for a little bit. So I think the run with Trick is over. I think now it's Ethan, and I gotta say, I mean, you mentioned the stuff about AEW. I didn't even realize it was 5 years. It just tells you, it just reminds me how fast time goes. But you mentioned all the stuff about him in AEW, and he really didn't do anything in AEW. He was there. He had a match with Darby. I remember it was a casket match.
Yeah, he had a good feud with Darby. Him, Top Team, and the Pinnacle. No, not the Pinnacle. The Inner Circle had a decent feud. And then after that, it just went downhill for that man. It went downhill so badly, he was trying to get out of his AEW contract for months. That's how badly he wanted to leave. because he got some decent matches in Ring of Honor, but they weren't doing anything for him. Unless your name is Athena and Billy Starks and Lexi over in Ring of Honor, they ain't paying that much attention to you.
And you know
Because
what?
that woman has been champion for over 500 plus days.
And I was going to say, now look at him now. He's the NXT champion, and I'm interested in seeing what direction that they go here. Like, I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm for the ride. Someone put in the comment too. Did you guys see this? Like after the show, we saw Joe Henry. No?
Ooh.
I did not.
We gonna get some replay action of their TNA history, maybe. That should be fun.
It's gonna be interesting to see where it's going. NXT is a fun review. I mean, we do it on Tuesdays. We talk about NXT on Tuesday right after it goes off the air. So I'm interested in seeing what's gonna happen this upcoming Tuesday. Wes Lee is gonna talk.
Actually, yeah.
No, go ahead. What do you want to say, sir?
No, actually, I thought you meant in the crowd. I don't know you meant like that little.
Yeah.
Clip. It was like
after, it was like
glitch thing. I thought you meant he was in the crowd. Sorry, no.
We're gonna be chanting "We believe in Joe Hendry" once he comes back, and hopefully he doesn't get thrown out of the ring in 5 seconds again.
There we go. He Jeffrey's mentioned it. He like how you mentioned it. It's his flesh. This was a terrible showing of mine. Forgive me, guys. But his face showed up after the show ended. It was pretty much like with Marvel when they have the was after cred. Oh, I gotta highlight my man right here. This guy right here. This is the mayor of the Jack Pack community. You see this right here, Rich Kings. The Jack Pack community. My brand is getting over big time. Now we need merch. Let's get that going. I hope the executive consultant is watching this. You see it. The people want it. We want Jack. Let's do it. And no, Jeffrey, I will not. I will continue to drink my bottle of water. But that's really the show, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this review. I thought it was a fun show. I look forward to seeing what happens on Tuesday. So with all that being said, this is where we say our goodbyes. Wrestling Doll, I made sure that you have your link there, but you have a YouTube channel or something like that? You got something going on.
Yes.
Thanks. What do you got?
I have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Karmen Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South to record indie wrestling matches in various companies to show off the skills of people that I know who have been on WWE as jobbers, have been on AEW as jobbers, have been on TNA, and even some former WWE, former AEW, and current AEW, and former and or current TNA superstars as well.
Ooh, that's fancy. Rich Kings, I always feel like I had to take the spot here, but I'm going to give you the floor. Where can people find you? Oh, you want me to take over here? I'll take over here. You know where you can catch Rich Kings here? He'd be. I think that's hilarious. I like to keep going out. I'm popping every time I say it. But you can catch this guy with me on the Big Pop Theory podcast. We do the prediction show and then the after show. We didn't do a live action show for Money in the Bank. I stepped out last night, but we did a recording. It was me, Shay Sawyer, and Jean Baptiste. We gave our thoughts about Money in the Bank, little thoughts about the documentary, the WrestleMania Behind the Curtain, which I honestly thought was well done. You can hear our thoughts about that. And also you can catch me here for Unpopular Review as well with Sabrina Estella. We talk about the NXT. You know, we got to do this whole rundown thing. It's really, it's sorry, I'm just off my game today. I had a whole victory speech too prepared for when I was going to win this championship. Where's our thing? Okay, here we go. Boom. Let's click this right here. Let me redo this all over again. On Mondays, kicking off the week is the Mike Knox Show. Mondays at 6 p.m. He talks all things wrestling. On Tuesdays, 7 p.m., you can catch the Monday Night Raw review crew. They're talking about Monday Night Raw. Tuesdays, you can catch me and Sabrina Stella. We're talking about NXT. And then we have the AEW Dynamite show. They go on right after Dynamite goes off the air. And on Saturdays at, I want to say it's an afternoon, but I think it's 1 p.m. The SmackDown crew, they talk about SmackDown. Got to catch them. You got a great batch of people here. You got the Mike Knox show. You got with the Raw, you got Freckle Francais and the executive. I'm sorry, I can't say that name ever, but the executive consultant. You got us on Tuesdays. You got on Wednesdays. You got Dan the Man. You got Cactus Katie, and you have Venomous Venny. These are some hell of names, by the way. We have Z the Silent, and he's never silent. He always wants to bring up Bill Goldberg in front of me. Not funny. And Vic, they are killing it on Saturday. So that's all the stuff here. I want to make sure we get to the comments before we leave. Wednesdays was off the rails, Jeffrey says. Yes, and that's why I left. That's exactly why I said this train seems very dangerous. Give me Jacy for either the NXT women. You know what? Roderick, I want you on the show one day. Thank you. Someone who's speaking intelligence. I appreciate that, sir. You know what? I think she would be a great North American Women's Champion. I don't see her winning the NXT Women's Championship right now, but one day she will. And when she does win it, there's enough room for only you for the Jayne train because it's a one-seater because I'm driving it. You're allowed to be on it. Everybody else, they missed the opportunity, so that means that they have to wait for it. Well, no, you're
on that train for a minute. I'm the one that gave you the name for the Jayne train. I'm hurt.
You did. So I'm driving. So it's a two-seater. So that means everybody else, they're going to have to watch as this train takes off and leave. That means I'll make you late from work or seeing people that you love. And I love all of that. That makes me very happy. Okay, I'm laughing. He said also, LOL, also, you got the mayor coming here every single time you guys dream. I didn't know we were dreaming. But anyway, that's the show, folks. We want to say thank you, guys. Let's go. Let's find this outro. I do want to get this last comment. Who was this? Who was this last person? I didn't push off Sabrina. Don't do that. Jeffrey tries to cause a friction between us, but we're
do not cause a friction between one of the best duos in UPR, Jeffrey.
How
this one knows I have been a Jacy Jayne fan since
this is true.
Toxic Attraction was a thing.
Before Toxic Attraction,
I have always been a fan of the underdog character, and Jacy Jayne was that in Toxic Attraction because everybody was paying attention to Mandy and Gigi.
And you know what? Good job on you. I'm really disappointed in you, Jeffrey. I'm really disappointed because I knew that I thought you was better than this, but I was wrong. And H-Man says he likes your hair, Wrestling Doll.
Well, the curls come out to play when the humidity is out in the air when it's over 90 degrees. Gotta love Florida.
Gotta love Florida. Florida, got Georgia, and got New York in the house. That's the show, folks. I'm trying to look for this damn outro. Where's this damn outro? There's the outro. All right, everyone, just give everyone a nice wave. Let's give a wave, everybody. There we go. That's lovely. Bye, folks.